Hello, everyone. This is Brian Beamish, the Canadian Rational Investor, coming to you today, June 18th, 2014. It's Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everybody. And this is our daily 5 to 10 minute BTC video. We're still trying to get this under the time limit here. I end up talking too much. I apologize, but we'll try and get through this as quick as possible. So let's get to the charts. First and foremost, I put out a chart. This was a day ago, yesterday. I basically said this was the 1 hour Finex. You see 60 minutes. And just quick plug, I like to use these guys. They're called tradingview.com. And you can find me. I'm a sort of a regular contributor here, the Rational Investor, CR Investor. There's my logo. You probably, that looks a bit familiar. So feel free to follow me there. As you can see, I got about 500 followers there. So not a bad place to keep track of me. But anyway, on to the charts. Last publication I put, the dead cat had bounced. Now what? And we had this panic dump. We remember down to 522, rally back to the 38.2 fib, came back down into the OTE sweet spot, put in a cute little double bottom, that nice little fractal here, and away we went. Nice little rally. I did notice that there were a few sort of bothersome things on the chart here that jumped out at me when I put this out. So I thought maybe upside objectives might get a little bit heavy here. We had a bearish momentum divergence here on our raw MACD, and you can see our little Willy indicator, the overbought, oversold indicator, was quite comfortably overbought. So my advice sort of at this point was look at, we could easily trudge up into the OTE short zone, which is the 61.8 to 78.6. And we had the 200 period moving average. We had a trend line here. So we could have easily popped up a bit higher, but at the same time, here was the 38.2 just off of this 612 peak, and here was the new OTE long sweet spot down here at 548. So I, basically left off that to me, really not the best trade location to consider a trade. You got basically a flip of the coin which direction she's going to go. All right, let's go see what's happened since then. Let's maybe just start off with this 1 hour. All right, so just finishing off this thought, basically that was the chart was produced in here. Indeed, we did need to clean things up, and I think that on balance, just the basic premise. The reason why I built the Willy indicator, as I say in my descriptions, is as a broker, I wanted a tool that would just sort of keep me out of trouble. And this Willy indicator is a fantastic little tool. Just, when the moving average gets into this overbought zone, and on the Williams percentage R, that's a reading above -20. So you can see the moving average was -16. This time in the chart's probably not the best time to consider purchases. Just let the Willy clean himself up, and then, it might be at the exact same level. Maybe price just goes sideways. But the long and short of it here is that momentum cleans itself up, and away we go. So about halfway through yesterday, as you can see, price sort of consolidated a bit. We put in a tight little 15-minute double bottom, and I think on yesterday's video I commented about how I thought, well, your lower time frame traders, there was, potentially a nice little long entry there. You had the raw momentum indicator put in this bottom here. You had volume go very quiet and then start to turn back up. And I think somewhere in this neighborhood, relatively late yesterday, I had just quickly tweeted that they had resolved this consolidation bullishly. And indeed, prices moved up here a bit. But what I find really interesting here is that, we talked about the simple fact that, this isn't really a very good trade location. So as a result, price did break out. And you can see here's that 200 period moving average. Here's that trend line from right off of the peaks. If we look back on this trend line, it comes right off of this original top. So not a big surprise that, we're just running into a lot of traffic here. I had suggested that, if you were going to play this trading range, then basically your buys are on a breakout through the top of the range, and your stop has to be down at the bottom of the range. Considering we didn't really have much follow through the top here, I really wouldn't be surprised to see this bottom of the range tested again. And what's really interesting is if you draw the fibs now off of this recent high here at 619.60, you see 38.2 just so happens to be just a hair below this key low here. So really, my feeling, as I had said before, this isn't a setup that I like to trade. I suppose this was a consolidation and you could have played it, but considering that the breakout, you can see Willie was getting kind of overbought. Not stupid yet, but getting kind of nosebleedy, and there really wasn't much follow through on the volume after this event, after this pop out through the top here. My hunch is, again, this is a real iffy trade here. I would personally like to see the market come back to the OTE long sweet spot. That right now is 550.90. And start to put in sort of W type action. Something that jumped out at me that is a bit of a concern right at the moment for the bulls. You see this red line here, basically higher highs and higher lows. But if we look at the red line here, we see lower highs and potentially lower lows. So we do have the potential of a bearish momentum divergence working here. So again, it sort of talks a bit about, is this really a wise trade location? And if we're gonna put up the fight, is this really where we want to have the fight to be fought? I suppose one could argue that we do have, excuse me, we do have a small bullish flagpole working here. The rally low up to the high here, then the consolidation, and then the projection. I don't really like this as a trade setup myself. I would prefer to have seen this come back down at least to the 38.2. Which off of this high was actually a bit lower here. We never did get that. So again, I'm a little leery of this price action here. There's lots of anecdotal evidence here that this is a bit suspicious. And these are the levels that I'd be concentrating on if I was a lower time frame participant. Keep in mind this is a 1 hour chart. So 582.37, which would just be a wash of these lows, a wash of the stops. That might set up an interesting trade location. This might be a massive head and shoulders that's forming here. Too early to tell right now. So, just to finish that thought, yes, we did have a bit of a momentum breakout there on the lower time frame on the 15-minute. We had this trading range that we outlined yesterday, and we did try to break up through the top of it. There just wasn't a heck of a lot of inertia on that breakout, and so as a result, we've drifted back down. Just to finish off today's video, we'll take a quick boo at the higher time frames just to keep an eye on what the bigger picture is. Just a simple summary here. This is a nice year-to-date chart. I'm actually really liking this year-to-date 4-hour chart because there's lots of good levels to work with off of here. So, here was our January high up at 995. Here was our April low, 340. Here was the 50% level, 667, Mr. Gann. Not a big surprise. We rallied up into that area, and now we're sort of backing away from it. So if we take a look at the shorter term perspective, and I've drawn actually both fib levels here. If we take a look at the fibs off of the low, 340, then you see that, gee whiz, all we did was just make the correction right back down into the 38.2, and naturally we should have bounced out of that. You'll notice too that this trend line off of the bottom here, off of this kilo and then off of this kilo, that's basically what the market's working with right now. So really fascinating to see that. So if we zoom in a little closer, you can see the trend line off of the tops and the trend line off of that bottom, making a perfect right angle triangle here. And you can see the market's just playing with that level right now. This apex usually gets some play. So if we do resolve either bullishly away from it, then it looks to me like our next trend line resistance is up top here, which would make sense, rally back up into this resistance highs. If, however, we fail down below it, then we actually don't have any support until we get way down, all the way down here. So we'll see how that goes. So bigger picture, we're still sort of cleaning up this monster rally that we've experienced. We off of this beautiful inverted head and shoulders bottom. Here's the 50% level, 512. So until that's tagged, I would say that we are still in the sort of bullish consolidation. If we start failing through the 50% level, then you can see we might have a bit more consolidation to go. Just looking at this fib right here off of the head and shoulders low, there's the 38.2, and here's the OTE sweet spot. And like we said, we just got a quick crank down here just to almost kiss the top of that OTE zone, and then the reversal. So it makes sense why we sort of dead cat bounced from where we did. We've simply rallied into resistance, and what's concerning me now is this dead cat bounce now doesn't have a heck of a lot of support down below here, and again, they're not a trade location for me to consider. But as you can see from the momentum indicators, things are looking a little heavy up top here. I'm actually a bit surprised we didn't get the rally up into the OTE. Maybe we'll get one more sort of what I call an FU move the market loves to do, just run after some quick stops and then crank down. But long and short of all this is I'm still waiting and just being nice and patient. And we got a 4-hour Willie top, stupid condition. We've got a bearish momentum divergence on the 4 hours. You can see that on the 1 hour up close, as we detailed a moment ago. So long and short of all this is I'm just going to be nice and patient here. I'm in no hurry to do anything whatsoever, and I certainly don't have any sort of real juicy trade location setups right at the moment. All right, so that's basically today's summary. Hopefully that puts everything into perspective for you, and have yourselves a great trading day, and we'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye for now.